Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show. And if you want to build massive wealth and 10x your income, as in going from making $1 to $10, or $10 to $100, or $100 to $1,000, I've never heard a better explanation than this video from Ali Abdaal. He breaks it down in such a simple, easy way that I want to comment on and share my own experiences, because I have a feeling it's going to change your entire perspective about money as soon as you hit the like button and subscribe. And also, I'll link to Ali's video down below in the description for anyone who wants to check it out. Thank you so much, and now let's begin.
So, what does it take to become financially free? And to answer this question, we're going to be using a framework called the Ladders of Wealth Creation. This is a concept that my friend Nathan Barry came up with in his 2019 blog post that went absolutely mega viral on the internet.
And by the way, the guy he's talking about is the CEO of ConvertKit. It's an email newsletter service that you're able to go and basically just like do blogs on and send to people, and they could read it for free. I set this up. I have, I think it's 40 or 50,000 people who follow me on ConvertKit. And if you want to get all my research or my video topics in more detail than I'm usually able to include on YouTube, since sometimes I have to edit these down, I'll link to it down below in the description. Actually, it's going to be the pinned comment if you want to follow me on there. And so basically all it is it's not like spam or anything like that. All it is I'm taking all the research I do, the full amount of it, plus like way more than you get in the videos is going to be there. And it's like twice a week. I do a deep dive on something. It's free. So if you want to be a part of it, the link is pinned comment and also in the description. And ConvertKit is amazing. So just for those who want extra information, it's there. Enjoy.
Ladder number 1, time for money. This is Sarah Blakely. Now, Sarah started her first business in 1990 when she was just out of high school. She charged $8 to babysit kids for a few hours at a local Hilton hotel. Fast forward to 2021, and Sarah's company, Spanx, was valued at $1.2 billion. And most people who become financially free started off with some kind of hourly job.
Oh yeah, totally. I started off, my first job ever, I was like 12, 13 years old. I was really young on this, and I was working part-time at a marine aquarium wholesaler. And at the very beginning, I didn't earn anything. I would just go in and love to work. I just wanted to go there and be around the fish and coral because I was a weird kid. I was just obsessed with it. So I would go in there, work for free, but they would give me like free fish and coral. So I kind of like, you know, instead of making money, it's getting free fish and coral, which I would have spent the money on anyway. So like that's what I was getting. After a while of doing that, I started getting paid per hour, and it was a low amount per hour. I mean, at the time, it must have been 2003 or 2004, 2005, like give or take somewhere around there. And when I was doing hourly, I think it was like $5 an hour, $6 an hour, give or take somewhere around there. And then I started to get paid per picture I took. So I'd be able to like take a picture of their inventory, Photoshop it, help put it on their website, and get $1 for doing that. But I mean, yeah, I could break it down per hour, but that's where I started. Everyone starts at this point, at some point in their life.
Now, you might have noticed something a little depressing, which is that ladder 1 is the shortest ladder when it comes to wealth creation. But ladder 1 is how most people make their living.
Yeah, ladder 1 is definitely the most common. It's where a lot of people get stuck, because when you're making a comfortable living, you don't want to risk that, especially if you have a family, you have kids, you have mortgage payments, car payments, you just have life, and you're making $70,000, $80,000 a year. It's enough to keep you comfortable to the point where you'd be silly to leave it. But there's so much more potential for so many people out there to take the risk. But if you fail at that, man, you don't want everything else to come crumbling apart. So it's where a lot of people get trapped.
Yes, there are a handful of professions where you can become financially free if you do trade your time for money. If, for example, you're a very well-paid software engineer, or you're a very well-paid doctor in the US, then yeah, sure, you're still trading your time for money, but your salary is in the millions.
Exactly. Now, the other good thing though with salary work is that you have the ability to have a life outside of work. It's the one thing that when you clock out, you're done with work. Now, I know there's some jobs out there that they expect you to answer emails off hours and stuff, but there's no responsibility to make sure the company does like exceedingly well. There's no responsibility outside of your own job. You get weekends off. There's a lot of downsides that come with it too, but you are able to have a life outside of like being an entrepreneur where it's like 24/7. It's all you think about. It's all consuming. It's all you ever want to do. it's just a different mentality that goes into that.
If I continued in my medical career, this is what my income graph would have looked like. In my foundation year 1, I'd be making about $40,000. In foundation year 2, maybe about $48,000. Then during core training, maybe I'm making like $54K. And then I become a registrar and maybe I'm making like $58 to $60K. And then once I become a consultant, then I'm on around about $100,000 to $150,000, depending on how I play my cards.
It's so crazy to me that doctors don't earn more money early on in their career. Like the amount of time and debt you take on to become a doctor is mind-blowing. You would think that early on in the career you get paid more. I know you're training. There's a lot that goes on. A lot of this is learning. Like you get paid to learn in a sense, but like most doctors won't even start their careers until they're like early 30s, which is mind-blowing that they spent like 12 years building up to something just to be able to become the doctor, which also, granted, I'm sure is good and is there for a reason because people's lives are at risk here. But it is such a commitment, such an upfront investment you have to be pretty certain you want to be a doctor.
I think for most people who are sufficiently privileged, with all of the caveats aside, who are sufficiently privileged to have the option of moving to different ladders, but who seem to stay in ladder 1, I think a big part of it is that we just don't consider that you actually can move to these different ladders.
I agree with that completely. You are who you surround yourself with. And if all you see is everyone doing the same path, it's going to be very scary. It's going to be very frowned upon. There's a lot of social pressure to stay on that same path as everyone else and not deviate from it. So sometimes you have to see other people doing something to think, I could do it too. If this person did it, what's to stop me from doing that? That lifestyle looks great. I want to do that. You're able to observe different careers around you. That's why I think it's so important to try out different things, see what you like, see what you don't like, meet as many people as possible, and then pick the career that best fits you.
Now, when I was around 12 years old, I discovered something absolutely magical, which is that I had the ability to make money on the internet by offering services to people online. And I advertised my services on freelance platforms where I was charging like $10 an hour to make websites for people.
It's so funny, like this is exactly my own progression, was going from ladder 1 to ladder 2. Ladder 2 for me was a service business working as a real estate agent. So I got my license at 18 years old, and my service was helping people find a house, negotiate a deal. That house could be a purchase, it could be a sale, it could be a rental. I'll do anything for anybody in real estate, and I'll get paid a commission for doing a good job. I like that a lot because how much I made was not dependent on how many hours I worked. And I had the ability to work as hard or as little as I liked. And that meant that I'd work as hard as I want. But to me, I liked being able to work way more on my own terms, on my own schedule, and get rewarded for working more. Like, it never made sense to me like a job, like a 9 to 5. It's like, hey, if I want to work even better, I don't get paid more for that sort of work. If I want to get all my work done in 2 hours, I can't just leave for the rest of the day, even though all my work is done. So it makes sense. I'm going to stretch my work out as long as possible. That seemed really inefficient. I like as an agent that I had direct control over my entire day. And if I want to be as efficient as possible, I can, and I'm the one that gets to reap all the rewards for that, of being really, really, really good at what I do. And that, for me, was a big change in mindset of just getting paid on results. Getting paid based on how good you are. Getting paid because you're effective at what you're doing. That, to me, was a complete shift from getting paid per hour to now I only make money if I do a good job.
Ladder number 3, which is productized services. On ladder number 2, we have the mindset of selling a service. But to move up to the next ladder, instead of thinking that we are selling a service, we are thinking of selling our service as a product instead. Hence the phrase productized services.
Yeah, see, this has changed so much for me because when I first started doing this and graduating to, the ladder 3 or whatever, I had a product. It was called, I had 2 of them. The first one I made was a program that taught you how to become a real estate agent and grow your business from nothing to hopefully earning $100,000 a year. And I just broke it down in like graphic detail, exactly what you need to do, how to get into the business, how much it's gonna cost, where you need to go, like all this sort of stuff. And it didn't do that well because it was very niche. Like how many people really want to be a real estate agent? How many people are interested in watching me to be able to buy something like that? Very tough. So then I created the YouTube Creator Academy, which I'll grant it's dated. Okay, it's very dated. But if you want to check it out, like 80% of the information is still like really good. But I've not done much with it for the last few years. So I mean, if you're interested, I'll discount it like $200 or whatever. Which it's just because it's old. Okay, I'm not making this as a pitch, but like in context with this. I made this whole YouTube Academy that taught you how to build a business from YouTube. And that for me was a big shift of like, hey, I could create something once and that'll continue to sell for the next few years. Now, granted, it's not entirely passive because it meant that I have to constantly be talking about it. And I got sick and tired of talking about it. But it does allow you to scale in such a way that was never possible before. Because all of a sudden now your income isn't dependent on hours worked. It's all dependent on an upfront investment. Same with making a YouTube video. Like I can make this one YouTube video, even though it makes like 90% of the money in the first like few days. I'm sure a year from now it'll make like 10 cents a day, 5 cents a day, hopefully. So it'll still produce some level of income for the work I put in upfront.
Then we come to ladder number 4, which is selling products themselves. Now, the wealthiest people on the planet typically did not get rich by selling services. Instead, they sell digital products or physical products or software instead. And in theory, ladder 4 removes all of the manual work from delivering the product because all of the work is front loaded into actually creating that product in the first place.
Okay, so actually, as it turns out, I skipped ladder 3. I'm actually doing ladder 4 by selling the YouTube program. So never mind. So I guess ladder 3 never happened for me. Oops. I skipped that one. Sorry, guys.
Then you go up one rung of the ladder, and that is directly software as a service, where the thing that people are buying from you is software, and ideally they are paying some kind of recurring revenue for that. So for example, we are in beta at the moment of a product that I'm developing with my friend Pablo.
Yeah, it seems like the recurring revenue subscription model is now the new thing. Like back when I first started, it was selling courses. Selling the courses, a one-time thing, but then people realized that courses were good in the short term, but they needed a lot of updating, they needed constant promotion. It wasn't as sustainable as people thought. Now it's subscription. It's finding a service that you could offer somebody and say, you're gonna pay X amount every single month for it, and people tend to be a lot stickier with subscriptions that actually provide them value. Like there's so many subscriptions that I currently pay for that I just use on a daily basis because they're that good and I won't cancel them. So for the lifetime of that product or service, it costs way more. They make way more money. Like Photoshop is a good example. Like a while ago, you could buy Photoshop for like $200-300. Now I think I pay like $20 to $50 a month for Photoshop. I end up paying way more for it, but Photoshop makes way more money. So there we go. Better for a business, I guess.
Ladder 4 is really where you have the potential of unlimited upside, especially in software, because you're not limited by things beyond server costs and team sizes and stuff as you scale. But you also have the potential for exponential income growth. Because if the product is good, then in theory, each sale of the product should make the next sale easier because you have some kind of word of mouth effect.
See, this also applies to investing though. It's just the compound effect that your money makes you money, which makes you even more money. And that's why even starting out with a small amount of money on a consistent basis can make you a significant amount in the long term. Like just as an example here, imagine investing $5 a day, starting at the age of 18 years old. Just $5 a day. I want you to take a guess. How much money do you think you would have by the time you're 68? So by the time you're like gonna retire, how much money will you have $5 a day starting at the age of 18 years old, investing it at a 8% return? How much would you have? The answer is $1.2 million just by investing $5 a day beginning at the age of 18 years old. So if you want to get started on doing something like that, regardless of your age, I partnered with Acorns, who's giving you a $20 bonus when you sign up at acorns.com/Graham or use the link down below in the description. Now, for those unfamiliar, Acorns is an investing app that'll take your purchases and then round it up to the nearest dollar and then invest the difference in your behalf. They also have the ability to set up like automatic recurring deposits so that you could just automatically transfer in a set amount on a consistent basis. You could invest long term. I've been investing with them now for 6 years. I have almost 100 grand with them at this point just through regular contributions, and it's something that is so easy to like set it and forget it. So if you guys are interested, you could get a $20 bonus when you sign up at acorns.com/Graham or use the link down below in the description. This offer expires the end of May. So you have not that long to get it done, and the best part, it'll take you like 5 to 6 minutes to sign up for it. So in less time than it took you to watch this video, you could make $20 as a bonus at acorns.com/Graham. So thank you so much. More details down below in the description. We'll get back to the video.
It is absolutely okay to skip steps if you want. You don't have to go from ladder 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, but it's worth recognizing that if you jump, for example, from ladder 1 to ladder number 4, you are missing out on a lot of the skills that you would have learned if you instead had built a service-based business or some kind of productized service agency up front.
So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. I completely agree with them, and hopefully this provides you with a bit of a blueprint in terms of how you can increase your own income. So if you guys enjoyed this, let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Hit the like button, subscribe, and with that said, until next time.